I drew a picture of it. And then I thought of another one. I decided to draw the dresses to hold on to them. But when I finished, I thought, these dresses tell a story.
Louder!
Quiet. My brownie uniform. My mother was our brownie leader at Hunter College on 69th Street, between Lexington and Park. Even though she was our brownie leader, she never wore a brownie leader's uniform because it was too expensive. Handmade brown dress coat with matching leggings and galoshes.
Gingy, put on your leggings.
I hated putting on my leggings, which were held up by suspenders. I always had a tantrum. I won't.
You have to put on your leggings if you're going out in the snow.
No, I don't.
If you don't, you know what's going to happen. You're going to get polio.
You can't imagine the ultimate ways there were to get polio. You could get it from a swimming pool, from drinking water, and most frightening of all, from swallowing a fly. Notice the brightly colored mittens. My mother was always knitting mittens for my sister and I. We lived at 333 East 66th Street in a first floor railroad flat that faced the front. My mother made this forest green jersey dress with embroidered cherries for my sister. My sister's name was Tootsie. Everyone called her Blossom. Everyone called me Gingy because I was born with ginger-colored hair. My mother was a large, handsome woman. She didn't wear fancy clothes, but probably because we couldn't afford it. Once my grandmother surprised her with a silver box stole for her birthday, or it was Mother's Day, I can't remember which. Anyway, she tried it on once, and she never wore it again. She usually wore a dark print dress with brown shoes and a buckle. She wore glasses, but whenever I draw her picture, I always forget to draw her glasses. She had the most beautifully shaped face. My mother also made this black taffeta outfit too. She made almost all of my sister and my outfits. I wore this dress to ballet school at Carnegie Hall on 57th Street. I liked it very, very much, but really what I wanted was a store-bought outfit. Sometimes I would take the crosstown bus all by myself to ballet arts. My mother would walk me to and from the bus.
Gingy, what is that smell?
What smell?
You know perfectly well what smell.
It was perfume. It was taboo. I smelled like...
You smell like a bordello. You are too young to wear perfume.
Tootsie wears perfume.
Tootsie's 17. You're only 12 years old. You're still a baby.
I'm not a baby.
And you smell so sweet without it. When you were a little girl, I used to just bury my head in your neck.
She used to just bury her head in my neck and inhale. The spring after my mother died, my father took me to B. Altman's department store on Fifth Avenue to buy me a dress for my 13th birthday. We were both so sad, but when we went into the teen department, my father said, "This is my daughter, and she needs a dress for her 13th birthday. And we need help." Well, of course, everybody came running to help because he was so handsome. He was 6 feet tall. I picked 2 blue dresses, and I couldn't decide between them. I was in agony. So he said, "You know what? You don't have to decide because I'm buying them both for you." He made them gift wrap them. That was a long time ago when you didn't have to pay for gift wrap. Each dress was very expensive, about $44. This is the one I wore to my 13th birthday party. One day, my grandmother came to pick us up, my sister and I. She decided that we were going to live with my grandmother, my grandfather, and my Aunt Babby. I never saw my father again.
Brown-clad wool pants and an ivory silk blouse with a bow tie, and a crochet vest to pull it all together. I went ballistic. What is this? I can't believe you got me this. I hate it.
What is wrong with it?
Everything. What have I ever ever done to you that you would ever think that I would wear something like this outfit? Like anyone wears outfits anymore?
I only wish I could wear something like that. It's a beautiful
Outfit!
At least try it on. You look adorable.
No, I don't. I'm taking it back.
You can't take it back.
Why not? You bought me. It was on sale? It was on sale? You bought me a birthday present that was on sale? What if I don't like it? And I don't.
Oh, you ungrateful girl. You are a horrible ungrateful girl. You don't appreciate anything.
My life is over just from wearing it in the house.
Fine.
Fine.
I'll never buy you anything again.
Good. I don't care. The next year, my mother got me a paperback copy of Parent and Child and a frozen Sara Lee banana cake. Just because I didn't appreciate anything anyway. My mother.
You look adorable.
Do I?
Oh, the French have the best sense of style.
So the next day, I put on my socks and got on my bike to go to school. And I felt very chic. And very daring, too. Until about a quarter of a mile, when I passed Michael Sherman, the boy I've been in love with for about 2 years. I saw him, and he started laughing. And I knew it was all wrong. My mom had completely deceived me. She never had a clue about style. So of course, big laughs behind my back all day long. Even one of my teachers said something. It was bad. But worst of all, when I told my mother, when I saw about how humiliated I was, she thought it was funny.
Honey, if you wear that again tomorrow, everyone will think it's a new trend. You know that's how trends get started, don't you?
But my mother.
What
my mother said.
Don't wear stripes and turns together.
Loafers around your feet.
Stop tugging at your crotch, Samantha.
If you wear a girdle, you'll destroy your stomach muscle.
Always wear clean underpants in case you die in a car accident.
You never wear that dress. Do you know how much I paid for it?
Never buy a red coat.
I saw your friend Stephanie at the mall today. Is she wearing the blouse I bought you?
Go right back upstairs and take that off.
Nice Jewish girls do not get their ears pierced.
You'd be so pretty if you
Lost weight.
gained weight,
Didn't make faces.
Fixed your nose.
Wash your hair.
combed your hair,
Washed your hair.
Kept your hair out of your eyes.
stood up straight.
Ate fruit.
Put on a little lipstick.
Took off all that makeup.
Oh, honey, you look so beautiful.
Just looking at you, I'm gonna cry.
You're so pretty.
Do you know how pretty you are?
You're pretty enough for all known purposes.
Is that what you're wearing?
Are you wearing that deliberately to annoy me?
Never wear white before Memorial Day.
Never wear white after Labor Day.
Never wear white.
You are much too young to wear black.
Never wear black pants and a white shirt. You're gonna look like the caterer's help.
Never wear velvet.
What did you do to your hair?
Is that a tattoo?
If you wear that, you're gonna be sent home for breaking the dress code.
Take that off. You'll look like a slut.
You look like a prostitute.
You look like a gypsy.
You look like a bag lady.
You look like a Hungarian waitress.
I don't understand. You could look so good if you just tried.
I don't know why I buy you things.
A tiara? You want me to buy you a tiara? Where are you gonna wear a tiara?
Your bra strap is showing. What do you mean it's supposed to show?
The truth truth is, I have no fashion sense. Never did. For many years, I blamed this on my mother's death. Then again, I blamed pretty much everything on her death. My weight, my addiction to television, my inability to spell. In my fantasy world, had my mother lived, I would be thin. I would be extremely well dressed. I would know what, and everything I tried on would fit. Mom and I would shop together at places that moms and daughters go, a department store, an outlet store, a flea market. I would wear a lot of tasteful makeup too. We would lunch someplace while shopping. You would be at a cafe where we would have a salad and actually like it. We'd laugh about how great our lives turned out and make plans for all the things we're still going to do together. But you see, that's just a dream because my mother did not live. She died when she was 39 years old. The fact is that no item of clothing has ever moved me in any way, except for one. After my mom died, my dad took his 5 motherless children to Belfast, Northern Ireland. I guess he thought he would best recover from the trauma of her death by living in a war zone. The IRA was nowhere as scary as what had just happened to our lives. When we returned, we found her side of her closet completely empty. All of her clothes were gone. A few years later, my dad remarried to a lovely woman. She was a school teacher, named Mary May. After the wedding, she moved right in. That first morning she was there, I was eating breakfast with a few of my siblings when my stepmother walked down the stairs and into the kitchen. She was wearing a long burgundy velour 3/4 length sleeve, zip front, a back rope with a thick vertical strip down the center surrounding the zipper. No one said a word. We all looked at each other and then at Mary as she made her way happily to the stove to put on a kettle. See, my mother had that same exact bathrobe in blue, electric blue. The unspoken rule in my house that my mother's name was never mentioned after her death. But that morning, I just knew that was about to change. My siblings left the kitchen, and I was alone with Mary. Mary, I said, my mom had that same bathrobe in blue. Oh, she said. And that robe disappeared, gone, sent away to the same place my mother's clothes had went. I assume. To this day, that bathrobe is the only piece of clothing I can actually see in my mind. I have no visuals of prom dresses, sweaters and shoes I couldn't live without. Clothes are just something I use for cover, leaving room for one electric blue memory.
If I could draw, I'd draw you a picture of the dress my mother gave me when I was 5 years old. It was my favorite dress. It had long sleeves, it was gray wool with a white pilgrim collar, black satin bow in the middle, and lace cuffs. A few months after my mother gave it to me, my father, who was a doctor, put my mother in a mental hospital. He moved in his nurse into a house. He divorced my mother, and he married the nurse. We had a cleaning lady that used to come and clean our house once a week. She had a little girl that was just a little younger than I was. She used to give her my hand-me-downs. One day I couldn't find my beautiful dress, and I asked my stepmother if she had seen it, and she said, "It'll show up." A week later, I went to school, and during recess, I found my dress. It was on the cleaning lady's daughter. I couldn't believe it. I ran up to her, grabbed her by the collar, and shook her. "That's my dress! My dress! My dress!" Until the recess monitors came to pull us apart. She little girl stood there, crying and shaking. I stood there, crying and shaking. I wasn't punished because the school said. They understood. But I wish they had. I deserved it. And my stepmother, too.
We lived with my grandparents in a brownstone building at 743 Madison, between 65th and 66th. They owned a stationery store on the street level. It was called Harry Goldberg's. We lived above the store. My grandmother had very beautiful long gray hair that she used to twist up on top of her head into a bun. She believed in two cures: tea for anything wrong inside the body, and Vaseline for anything wrong outside the body. Here's what she always said: "It's as easy to fall in love with a rich man as a poor man." Which isn't true. Why do people say that? It's not true. My Aunt Babby had enormous breasts. Once I saw her naked, and it scared me to death. My best friend, Dora, she had a beauty mark at the edge of her brow. Dora lived at 22 East 65th Street, right across the street from me. And we used to lean out our windows and shout down things at men walking past like, "You're going bald!" We thought we were hilarious. Dora's mother was a dress designer for rich ladies. Whenever Dora went someplace special, she said, "Take Gingy along." She lent me this pink, strapless satin dress for when I went with Dora to the Choate School Boys for Connecticut for the weekend. All the preppy girls gave us dirty looks and called us whores, probably because we spent the whole weekend necking with our dates. This is the coral wool jersey dress I wore for a date with Walter Fenton. I was in love with Walter Fenton. Every time we'd go out, Walter begged me to go all the way. Finally, at a frat party in Dartmouth Winter Carnival, he told me that he couldn't see me anymore because necking was just too painful. He went off to have a beer and left me sitting on the floor. After a long time, he came back and he said he was going to drive me back to the place that I was supposed to sleep. And I said, "I don't want to go. I want to spend the night with you." He said, "Are you sure?" And I said, "Yeah." And so, we did it. That's when I found out that in sex, once you start doing something, you just gotta keep doing it. At the end of my freshman year, I thought I was pregnant. I had no idea what to do. So I went to my sociology professor at Simmons College for advice. He taught a marriage class, and I thought he could help me. As it turned out, I wasn't pregnant. But by then, Walter had gone.
That is such a painful subject.
My first bra.
I can't even talk about my first bra.
May Company?
Macy's.
Nordstrom's.
Bloomingdale's at a bra sale, I was almost trampled to death.
My father took me. I still can't talk about it.
Oh, bras, breasts, the whole works. It's such a painful subject.
I was always trying on bras.
My aunt had this really big one. I used to wear it on my head.
My first bra was like 2 triangles. I got it at Jordan Marsh. It was awful because there was some really cute guy there with his girlfriend, and my mother kept yelling, "Julia, why are you in that section? The training bras are over here."
My mother said if you don't wear a bra, you're going to have pendulum breasts.
It was a 22 AA. Tiny, but not tiny enough. I put it on, and there were like 2 empty little puffs on my chest. The sales lady said, "Bend over." So I leaned over, hoping my breast would fall magically into the bra. But they didn't.
I bought a blow-up bra. It had a plastic balloon insert, and it came with a plastic straw that you inserted into the balloon and blew up to the size you wanted. Basically, ta-da! One day, I'm talking to this guy that I had a really big crush on. One side collapsed right over my eye.
It was something about your dad.
You couldn't run around the house naked anymore.
You couldn't sit on your daddy's lap anymore.
The breasts, the bra, the divide.
So my mom's friends worked at Bloomingdale's when I was in college and recommended the Minimizer. It's a spandex bra that flattens your boobs about a cup size. I was totally excited about this because I'm so self-conscious about my boobs. But the bra flattened me and kind of gave me a mono boob look. So I wore it to the veterinary hospital where I was working as a technician. There was this crazy Indian guy there.
Please don't take this personally. This is only for your own good. But I have to say, there is something wrong with your boob.
So I said, "I don't know you. I don't appreciate you making comments about my boobs. They are none of your business." First time I ever stood up for my boobs.
Someone gave me a cashmere halter top that needs a bra to make it work. So I go to the town shop on Broadway and tell the saleswoman marveling my size. She immediately tells me I'm wrong. All you girls think you should be going up in inches, but you should be going up in a cup. So I'm deposited into something that perhaps is a dressing room, but looks like a utility closet with a mirror and a case of paper towels. I'm strapped into my strapless when the curtain is parted like the Red Sea and my linebacker saleswoman commands me to bend over. She then grabs me and my bra and hoists me up until I can feel the blood changing direction in my body. She reaches in, cups my breasts with her hands, and shifts them. Then she invites all the other saleswomen in to look at me. Everyone cheers. I look in the mirror and I realize I'm a new woman, and it took Marveline feeling me up in a utility closet to get me this way.
So my junior prom dress was powder blue and white. It was red with tiny ribs, a white band, and a white band around the bottom, kind of like Cinderella. It also had a big powder blue bow. The problem was my date. He rang the bell and I opened the door. There he was in a powder blue tuxedo with a white frilly shirt and a powder blue bow tie. We matched. It was totally mortifying. I didn't really like him, but I was sort of the last one to be asked to the prom. Not the very last, but one of the last. So I didn't really have a choice in the date or in what he wore. And at the end of the prom, we just went into a field and tipped cows. tied on top, and then it went out in a black boot and lace black gloves. My date was also short, but dark and handsome. And we ended up drinking champagne and making out in his car. It was so great. But here's the thing. I've never really known which of these two people I am. The girl who almost doesn't get asked to the prom at all, or the girl that gets to go with a really cute guy. Every time I thought I was one, I turned out to be the other. Which is one reason why I think I got married. To like end the confusion. Any American woman under the age of 40 who says she's never dressed as Madonna is either lying or Amish.
Madonna represents sexual freedom,
Third wave feminism.
Individuality.
famous fashion.
Last year for Halloween, we all dressed as Madonna from 4 different stages of her career.
I was desperately seeking Susan Madonna. I wore a black t-shirt cut to reveal my stomach, silver necklaces tied in lariats, and a huge black skirt. And red Converse sneakers.
I was blonde ambition for Madonna, tight black leotard fishnet stockings, a headset, and this was really brilliant. 2 paper party hats. I painted black to create a big black pointy bra.
I was Express Yourself Madonna. I wore a man suit, rocked a red lip, and I cut slashes in the suit jacket so my bra showed through.
I was Patty Hearst Madonna. I wore that cute little hat and a trench coat and a gun strapped across the chest.
Anyway, these costumes and a whole lot of cosmos totally freed us.
I made out with a girl.
Oh my God, I made out with a bunch of gay men!
I practically got into a fist fight with another group of girls, all dressed as
Madonna!
And whenever Vogue came on, we totally hit the floor.
Bob.
Vogue!
Vogue.
Vogue.
Vogue!
I felt so hot in my gang sweater. I was 15 and it was the first thing I had tailor-made for me. The only thing ever, now that I think of it. I joined a gang called the Latin Chantels. We were the moles of the Latin Chancellors, the guys who hung out near the corner of 27th and Normal Streets in Chicago. The sweater was hip length and bad. Black with royal blue trim around the collar and the pockets. The best thing about it was the emblem. A big, puffy rendition of some long time ago coat of arms designed by Lemons, the warlord of the Latin Chancellors. The emblem was sewed onto the sweater near your heart. I wore my gang sweater with black stretch pants, the kind with the strap that goes under your feet. I knew I looked cool in my outfit. So cool that the first day I wore it, Lemons asked to walk me home. I could barely breathe. Walking through the dark Chicago streets with Lemons at my side, I was thrilled when he pulled me into the doorway and began kissing me. When he unbuttoned my sweater, I shuddered. When he put his hand under my blouse, right under the emblem that he had designed, I figured it was meant to be. Lemons never spoke to me after that day. He fell madly in love with Irma, the president of the Latin Capris. Their sweater was black with purple trim. Cool.
I got my first pair of boots when I was 14, and they were suede, and they were the answer to my need to be identified as a brooding, wounded, but potentially brilliant artistic subspecies of female with practically no genetic relationship to that screaming, miserable family of mine. But my dog Corky got him confused with an entree and ate a hole right through him. So I took a bus to Sausalito and I got a new pair. They were olive green leather and they came up above my knees. And by the time I got to Berkeley, where I was an art student, I was all boots all the time. My freshman year, I had 2 pair. One was a golden brown and one was a deeper brown. And I wore them with really short skirts. I thought my boots gave me a kind of mysterious bohemian charisma. Tough but tender, rugged but sensuous, poetic but unself-conscious, like Joni Mitchell. It was a really, really happy time in my life. But one night when I was sleeping, a guy, he broke in my apartment and he raped me. They never caught him. I have no reason to think at all that he ever seen me before that night. But after the rape, when I walked down the streets of Berkeley, in my boots and my short skirts, it suddenly seemed like everyone was staring at me. So I gave my short skirts to Goodwill, but not the boots. I love boots. What do you think?
Does this go in or out?
What is this length?
I can't even zip it up.
The only reason why I can't zip this up is because I have my period.
Oh my God, I went up a size?
This'll fit if I lose 5 pounds.
This is going to fit if I lose 10 pounds.
This will fit if I get lipo.
This doesn't fit.
Do you think they would let this out?
Does this fit now? This doesn't fit now, but I always lose weight in May.
I don't know who this was cut for.
Does this come in a 4?
But I'm a 6. I've always been a 6.
Does this come in a 0?
Does this make me look pregnant?
I can't decide.
What color is this?
I can't wear gray.
Yellow makes me look sick.
I look so pale and green.
It's so red.
It's so red.
Is this black or is it navy blue?
I can't buy another black turtleneck sweater.
I can't buy another white t-shirt.
I look like my mother.
What am I supposed to wear this with?
Does this match?
If you're not going to buy that, can I buy it?
Does this run small?
What's wrong with this? Is there something wrong with the lighting in here?
Is this mirror like distorted?
It doesn't fit.
I can't wear anything without sleeves.
I can't wear anything low cut.
My arms! What happened to my arms?
If my elbows face forward, I would kill myself.
My butt is falling.
Is my butt falling?
Oh my god, my butt fell!
Does this make me look bad?
Tell me the truth.
I can't decide.
I can't decide.
I can't decide.
I can't decide. Last summer, I lost my favorite shirt. Or to be more accurate, my favorite shirt vanished into thin air. When I got home from being away for the summer and I unpacked my bags, the shirt simply never materialized. I have replayed the sequence of events in my mind several times, and I have theories about what happened to it. But the fact remains that the shirt just ceased to be. The really sad part was that it came at the end of a summer where that shirt gradually revealed itself to be the perfect shirt. It was flattering. I always felt pretty in it. I liked the color and the cut. It went with all my favorite pants. It was casual and dressed down, but not crappy and falling apart. It was one of those shirts you have to make yourself not wear, because it seems every day's outfit would be improved by wearing it. As silly as it may sound, I'm generally happier when I have clothes like this in my life. When there's something I know I can put on and feel good in, something to fall back on. When I realized the shirt was gone, I couldn't think of anything else I owned that served remotely the same function. And I felt cheated out of something truly rare and precious. I realize that sounds like I'm talking about death or about lost love, and maybe I am. It's probably worth noting that my relationship with my boyfriend was ending at just the same time I lost the shirt. but I could have sworn to you at the time that I was not transferring my feelings about the loss of my boyfriend onto the shirt, but actually mourning the shirt itself. The main lesson to be learned from this experience came from the purchase of 8 different shirts, which each had some likeness to the lost shirt, whether it be color, cut, material, casualness, but none of them in any way replaced it. And I eventually had to resolve to be thankful for the time I had with the shirt and move on. At least I know what I'm looking for.
Pink satin princess-style dress I bought at Filene's basement in Boston for my marriage to Harry and Johnson. I was 20 and Harry was 37. Harry was my sociology professor at Simmons. We were married at his best friend's house in Dobbs Ferry. There was no food, only champagne and wedding cake. My grandmother and Aunt Babby came to the wedding, but my grandfather wouldn't come because he thought Harry was way too old for me, and besides, he was Catholic. Here are the words my grandmother uttered on this occasion. "You're killing me." One day, I was coming down the front steps from my apartment, and there was Walter Fenton. He'd joined the Navy. He looked handsomer than ever in his uniform. "Gingy," he said, "why did you do it?" And he kissed my cheek and then my hand and walked away. I would love to be able to tell you that nothing ever good happened to Walter Fenton, that he became a used car salesman, but the truth is, he won a Pulitzer Prize. Iridescent brocade Chinese-style dinner dress I bought at Cambridge for a New Year's Eve party. Harry convinced me to buy this dress, even although it was very expensive. He said it showed off my arms. He thought my arms were pretty. The party was at the home of Harry's friends, Penny and Jacqui. They were married. I idolized Penny. She carried around a diaphragm in her purse. I thought it was really cool, but strange, because I thought, you know, at the time, isn't the whole point of getting married that you don't have to carry a diaphragm around your purse? Anyway, at midnight, I got really upset because I couldn't find Harry anywhere. And then I saw him. He was kissing Penny.
Oh, no.
"Harry!" I said. And you know what he said? Of course you know what he said. "It's not what you think." So that was that. I was 21 years old, and I was going to be the youngest divorced person in America other than Elizabeth Taylor.
There was, for a brief moment in time, the paper dress. I had one. I got it at the paraphernalia on 67th and Madison. It was Betsy Johnson's first store. I wore it to brunch at my cousin's, Marty. He's an advertising executive who had just married Steffi, whom he put through medical school, and she ran off with a doctor. They were very impressed with how observant I was. Then I wore it to my cousin and my sister Paula's and her husband Earl's at their newlywed apartment and their newly upholstered dining room chairs. In the middle of dinner, I got my period. Suddenly and violently. And when we all stood up, there was a blood stain on one of the prized new chairs. For history's sake, I must say the dress was intact, just wet. It must have been its predecessor, Bounty paper towels. Anyway, when I stood up, Janet said something like, "What?" And I said something like, "What?" As though nothing had happened out of the ordinary. Then I left for the bathroom. God knows what the three of them must have done, because I never acknowledged to anyone that anything out of the ordinary had happened. I will admit, I'll remember this on my deathbed.
I always wanted a pair of black cowboy boots. I thought they'd make me sort of rangy and taller, like some girl named Slim that a guy could really go for. So one day, I wandered into Walker's Western Wear and bought a pair of Nakonas. Beautiful stitching on the side, shit kicker pointy toes, $250. The salesman said they'd be good for my arches. I have terrible arches.
She's obsessed with her arches.
My older sister.
She's always been obsessed with her arches.
My younger sister. A month later, I met a guy I fell in love with. Chase. He owned 6 pairs of black cowboy boots. Not Nakonas, but still really nice Tony Lamas. As fate would have it, he turned out to be the same sexy guy I'd seen standing against a Doric column at a party at the architecture school.
It was Halloween. Don't leave that out.
He had a chainsaw through his torso.
Yeah, how could she resist him?
She couldn't.
He was a sort of freckly prepster, and since I was freckly too, there we were, meant to be with our freckles and black cowboy boots, skinny freckly arms all entangled.
She followed him to Seattle.
He invited me.
No, he did not.
One of the reasons he wanted to move west was to get away from his incredibly dysfunctional family in Connecticut. Although if I ever said his family was dysfunctional, he would say, "Hold it right there. My family isn't dysfunctional. If you want to talk about dysfunctional families, what about your family?"
What about your sisters?
What about your sisters who hate me?
Which we did.
Because of the way he treated her.
Although she let him. He couldn't have treated her that way if she hadn't let him.
We discussed it for hours.
Behind her back.
What a jerk he was.
Why was she in love with him?
Why?
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 Where was I?
His incredibly dysfunctional family.
Right. So he said,
If you're gonna insult my family, I'm out of here.
And she said,
"Don't go. Please don't go. Please don't go. I didn't mean it. I love you."
I love you.
I love you.
He was always threatening to leave.
And every time she said,
"Don't go. Please don't go. Please don't go. I didn't mean it. I love you."
So guess what? He stayed.
After a while, I began to suspect that he was actually in love with his family and not really with me at all. He'd go home for the holidays without me, bearing gifts I'd helped him shop for, and he'd come home with old Shetland sweaters that reminded him of his childhood. But what I really wanted was for him to come back with the realization that he'd missed me horribly. He couldn't live without me. He wanted to marry me. He loved me. And failing any of that, that at least someday wanted me to meet his fucking parents, which I finally told him in those very words.
and he said,
If you're gonna insult my family, I'm out of here.
and she said,
Fine.
isn't that amazing?
Fine. Go. Split. Who cares? And take those fucking boots with you.
And he left.
Just like that.
After 7 years and 7 horrible Christmases, at which point he owned 12 pairs of Tony Llamas, most of them with holes, and I still owned my own well-oiled, well-cared-for pair of Nakonas. He kept the Shetland sweaters and his childhood memories, and I left town and found a good shrink in Los Angeles, where we live.
I have nothing to wear.
Nothing.
Nothing fits.
Nothing fits me.
Why did I buy this piece of shit?
Where is it?
Why can't I find anything in my closet?
I hate my clothes.
Why do I buy such terrible clothes?
I have to clean out my closet.
I absolutely have to.
I have to throw this away. I haven't worn it for 5 years.
3 years.
2 years.
I can't do it.
My mother gave me this. Who does she think I am?
I can't find my black turtleneck sweater.
Where is it?
I can't find
Oh,
it.
now I am sweating.
Why didn't I hang this up? Now I have to iron it.
I have nothing to wear.
Who bought this?
Who did I think I was when I bought this?
I totally forgot about this.
Do men ever go through this? Choosing the sweater, unchoosing the sweater, choosing the sweater, unchoosing the sweater.
Of course they don't.
What's wrong with me?
Where is
I
it?
have nothing to wear.
I have nothing to wear.
I have nothing to wear.
Nothing.
Intermission, everybody. Go ahead and get your drinks. Use the restroom. We'll be back in 15 minutes.
After I got divorced, I moved back to New York and lived with Dora, who was studying to be an actress.
Gingy, you are the second divorced person in the entire world. You must act as if you couldn't care less.
I had no idea what Dora meant.
What I mean is, don't marry the first person you go out with just so you can stop being divorced.
That's ridiculous. Why would I do that?
Are you listening to me, Gingy?
This is a yellow ochre sack dress that Dora lent me when she fixed me up with Al Beckerman.
He's very sweet, but don't marry him. Are you listening to me, Gingy?
Floral print parquet dress that I purchased at a very snooty store in New Canaan, Connecticut for my marriage to Al. My grandmother and Babby came to the wedding, but my grandfather wouldn't come. He was still mad at me for marrying Harry. Al was so sweet. He's very sweet, I said to Dora. And she said,
I know he's very sweet, but are you sure?
he'll take care of me.
I know, but are you sure?
We both want a big family.
How big, Gingy?
Red and black print taffeta maternity dress. First worn when I was pregnant with Isabel. And then when I was pregnant with Lily, Michael, Joe, Julie, and David. David died when he was 18 months old from an intestinal virus. Your son is expired, they said, when they called from the hospital. Your son has expired. After David died, everything changed. I ordered this ivory wool pantsuit from the Spiegel catalog. It was my first mail order purchase. I thought it would be a good interview outfit because now that the children were all in school, I wanted to go back to work. I got a job at an ad agency. One day, I walked into my office and a man was sitting at my desk. He had a glue stick in his hand and he said, "Do you know how to open this fucking thing?" Oh, it was as if Cupid shot an arrow right through my heart. "Fuck," he said, and left. Later on that day, I found out his name was Stanley. So there it was. First Walter, then Harry, then Al, and then Stanley. I love this print jersey Diane von Furstenberg dress. It was easy to put on and comfortable, and if you gained a few pounds, it still fit. I was wearing it the day I told Al I couldn't be married to him anymore because I'd fallen in love with Stanley. It wasn't really Al's fault. He was so sweet.
In the beginning, I remembered the jewelry way more than the clothes. When I met Ray, we were both married, but we both worked at the same truck dealership. He used to say to me, falling in love with me was like lettuce. Because when he was a kid, he had colitis, and for a long time, he wasn't allowed to eat any roughage, and he missed it a lot. When he finally was allowed to have it, his mother introduced it slowly, a little bit of lettuce at a time. And he described eating that first plate of lettuce almost like a religious experience, relishing the look, the smell, the sound, the taste. He said it was like he was coming alive. So the first gift he gave me was a ring he had made that spelled lettuce. Lettuce. I still got it. It's a little bit tight though. Anyway, even before we slept together, he told me about how he was in trouble. He'd been arrested, and he was going to probably go to jail. Then he told me all over again because he wanted to make sure he hadn't misled me. But the whole time, all I could think about was how much I wanted to go to bed with him. And I wasn't shocked he was going to jail because remember, I'm a Gorman. My family are always doing things. My grandmother and my mother got arrested for making bathtub gin. My Auntie Bernice, who was a policewoman, was thrown off the Baltimore Police Abortion Squad for arranging abortions. Oh, and Cousin Davy, he faked his own funeral just to get out of making car payments. So Ray and I, we fall in love. He left his wife, I left my husband, and Ray got sentenced to 7 years. But thank God it was in a minimum security prison. And I went up to visit him every weekend. And get this, sometimes I wore a special pair of pants I had. They were loose-fitting brown cotton, and I made a hole in the crotch for easy access by Ray's finger. Now, obviously, Ray didn't get much from this except the satisfaction of pleasing me. But he always wanted to show me that even in jail, he could take better care of me than someone who wasn't in jail. And of course, we wanted to hold on to freedom. Put something over on those guards. You know, get away with it. That was the best part. Because they were horrible when they cleared you in. They frisked you. They went through your bags like they controlled you. Of which they did. But Ray, he got out of prison after 2.5 years. And I picked him up that day wearing a pair of knee-high caramel-colored boots and a raincoat. Ray, he comes down, he looks at me, and there was a grin on his face from ear to ear because he knew I had nothing on under that. And the guards, they didn't know. And by the way, we just celebrated our 20th wedding anniversary. I'm a state senator. Ray, he's a life coach. He coaches people in their lives. If you lived where we lived, you'd know us, but you wouldn't know the story.
I started getting fat when I was 12.
I've always been thin.
By the time I was 15, I was a size 20.
Not just thin, skinny. Which would not have mattered if I'd had breasts, but I didn't.
If I ate 1 carrot, I would gain 3 pounds.
Mary, is that you in the refrigerator?
It was, my mother kept saying.
You have a pretty face. You could be so attractive if you just lost weight.
My mother was the most competent human being alive. But she gave up on me clothes-wise. She would send me off alone in a taxi to a store called Jane Eagle on the southeast corner of 79th and Madison. And they'd bring me clothes and I'd try them on. There was a dressing room with 3 mirrors. No matter which way I looked, there I was, big as a house. There's never been a good time to be fat, but this was a particularly bad time on account of Audrey Hepburn.
My shrink said,
If you ever got happy, you'd gain weight.
and she also said,
This is because of your mother.
my mother? I'm thin because of my mother?
Yes.
Couldn't it be my metabolism?
No.
By the time I married Kenny, I managed to diet down to 132 pounds, which was real thin for me. But Kenny couldn't care less what I weighed because he was gay and he would have married me if I had 2 heads.
I have a picture of me and my first husband together on a bench in Washington Square Park. I was wearing my lime green winter coat, so short with a plaid scarf, and I looked really happy. But I was never happy with David. Whenever I see that picture, I always think how photos lie and how many marriages are just performances.
When I married Kenny, I wore my mother's wedding dress, which fit with some adjustments. She bought it at Bergdorf's. It was absolutely gorgeous. Ivory satin, plain with long-sleeved lace insets that came to a point and a great big long train. Just as I was getting into that dress before the wedding, the dressmaker pricked her finger on a needle, just like in Sleeping Beauty, and got blood on my dress. My mother said,
Oh, I know how to fix that.
and she did. After all, she was the most competent human being alive. So she got an ice cube and out came the blood stain. I wore the dress at my wedding, my sister wore it at hers, my older daughter wore it at hers, until it came down to my youngest daughter, Jenny, who said, "No way in hell am I wearing that bad luck dress." So, anyway, we had a wedding dress designed for her by Vera Wang. Guess what? She got divorced too. We all got divorced, my whole family. Everyone except my mother, who stayed married to my dad for 56 miserable years.
After I was married to David for 3 years, I began to endlessly fantasize about tragically and miraculously losing him. Every time he was 5 minutes late, automobile accident. Every time he coughed, TB. Every time we went to a party, I hoped that he would go into the kitchen and kiss one of my girlfriends and run off with them. But none of them really liked him.
You are ambivalent.
Ambivalent? I'm not remotely ambivalent.
You are ambivalent. You really love him. You're just too neurotic to admit it.
I was neurotic, but not because I didn't love my husband, because I was pretending to love my husband when I didn't. After 6 years, David and I split up, but not before spending an entire week talking non-stop. We even ended up talking naked, which one might imagine meant we finally spoke the truth, but we didn't.
Why were you naked?
Because we just had sex. We were lying there and my husband was telling me he wanted me to stop writing. But I'd hardly written anything at that point. I'd written one book, The Adventurous Crocheter. And I remember while he was talking to me, I recited the beginning of it to myself so I wouldn't hear anything he was saying. There's no wrong way to crochet. There are easier ways and harder ways, but there's no wrong way to crochet. So David and I got divorced, and I left my shrink. I mean, fuck you.
When I married Harry, I wore my mother's navy blue suit. I look like a 110-year-old Italian war widow. But I lived happily ever after.
When I married Jerry, I wore a shocking pink Mexican cotton skirt with a white Mexican blouse off the shoulder. It wasn't the sort of thing that would look good on a skinny person, but I gained 5 pounds. And we all know what a big deal 5 pounds is. I look gorgeous in high heels. Everyone looks gorgeous in high heels. But my feet hurt. My little toes always crushed. I have a bunion. I was in so much pain. I couldn't think. I had to choose heels or think. I chose think. So I bought some chic flat shoes. I made a lot of mistakes. I bought these turquoise blue Marc Jacobs ballet flats. The salesman talked me into them because he said they had toe cleavage. I'd never heard of toe cleavage. Anyway, I realized that chic flat shoes are almost as uncomfortable as heels, and they don't do that amazing thing for your legs. Fortunately, at just about that time, I met an unbelievably stylish woman who wore Birkenstocks. When I was in high school, I was a Doc Martens girl, and Birkenstocks symbolized everything I didn't want to be. They were incredibly uncool, and the girls who wore them had big dirty toes that stuck out the ends. You could not be friends with a girl who wore Birkenstocks. But this stylish woman wore her Birks with baggy cords and Comme des Garçons sleeveless shirt. It was a revelation. The next day, I went out. I got a pedicure and a pair. Dark brown, standard style. I realized that Birkenstocks were actually the coolest punkish shoes a girl could wear. They were a statement. Look, these are my feet. We all got them, okay? My husband had a slightly different opinion. He hated my Birkenstocks. He said they made me look like a troll from Middle Earth. And once, when the Yankees were in the playoffs, he made me take them off before coming in the same room as the TV, so I wouldn't hex the game. After we split up, you'd think I'd have stuck with my Birkenstocks, but no. I started wearing heels. Again. Oh, the pain. I can't think, but I look gorgeous. I had to choose heels or think. I chose heels.
I just want to say jumpsuits. Can we, for 1 second, talk about the nightmare it is to go to the bathroom in a jumpsuit?
I just want to say that I personally have a rule against sleeveless turtleneck sweaters. I don't understand them. Are you hot or are you cold? Make up your mind.
I just want to say, when you start wearing Eileen Fisher, you might as well say, I give up.
I just want to say, I hate my purse. I absolutely hate my purse. If you're one of those women who think there's something great about purses, don't even bother listening because I have nothing to say to you. This is for women who hate their purses, who are bad at purses, who understand that their purses are a reflection of negligent housekeeping, hopeless disorganization, a chronic inability to throw anything away, and an ongoing failure to handle the obligations of a demanding accessory. The obligation, for example, that it should in some way match what you're wearing. This is for women whose purses are a morass of loose Tic Tacs, lipsticks without top, little bits of tobacco, even though there's been no smoking going on for at least 10 years. Tampons that have come loose from their wrappings, boarding passes from long forgotten airplane trips, hotel keys from God knows what hotel, leaky ballpoint pens, Kleenexes that either have or have not been used. There's really no way to be sure one way or another. This is for those of you who understand, in short, that your purse is in some absolutely horrible way you. I realized many years ago that I was no good at purses, and for quite a while I did without one. When I went out at night, I managed with a $20 bill, a credit card tucked in my bra. But unfortunately, there were times when I needed to leave the house with more than just the basics. So I bought an overcoat with large pockets. This, I realized, turned my coat into a purse. But it was still better than carrying a purse. See, anything is better than carrying a purse. Because here's what happens when you have a purse. You start small. You start pledging yourself to neatness. You start vowing that this time it's going to be different. You start with a wallet and then a few cosmetics, but within seconds, your purse has accumulated the debris of a lifetime. The cosmetics have somehow fallen out of the shiny cosmetic bag. The coins have tumbled from the wallet. The credit card somewhere. Where are they? There's a half-drunk bottle of water along with several snacks you've saved from an airplane trip just in case you found yourself starving and unaccountably craving a cheese that tastes like plastic. Perhaps you can fit your sneakers in your purse. Yes, my God, you can. Before you know it, everything you own is in your purse. You can flee the Cossacks with your purse. But when you open it up, you can't find a thing. Your purse is a big dark hole full of stuff that you've spent hours fishing around for. What's the solution? I tried spending quite a lot of money on a purse. The theory being that having an expensive purse would inspire me to be a different person. But of course that didn't work. I also tried one of those Prada backpacks, but I stuffed so much in it, I looked like a Sherpa. Then one day, I found myself in Paris with a friend who announced that her goal for the week was to buy a vintage Kelly bag. I'd never heard of a Kelly bag. My friend looked at me as if I had spent the century asleep in a cave. Then she went on to say that a Kelly bag is a Hermes bag, first made in the 1950s that Grace Kelly had made famous, hence the name. It was a classic. My friend had heard of a dealer in the flea market that had several for sale. How much is this purse going to cost, I asked. I practically expired when she said, $6,000. Well, we went to the flea market and there was the Kelly bag. I didn't know what to say. It looked like the kind of sort of bag my mother used to carry. It barely held anything, and it hung stiffly on my friend's arm. I may be no good at purses, but I know. Any purse that hangs over your arm instead of your shoulder immobilizes half of your body, and more important, adds 10 pounds. Anyway, my friend bought her Kelly bag. It only cost $5,600. The color wasn't exactly what she had wanted, but, you know, it was in wonderful shape. Of course, it would have to be waterproof because if it hit, a little bit of moisture hit it, it would lose half its value. Caught in the rain, waterproofed. It never occurred to me to think about a bag being caught in the rain. Thank God it was time for lunch. So we all went into a bistro, and there sat the Kelly bag, placed in the center of the table where it sat like a small shrine to a shopping victory. And then, all of a sudden, outside, it began to rain. My friend's eyes began to well with tears. Her lips closed so tightly. In fact, to be completely honest, her lips actually pursed. It was pouring rain outside, and she hadn't had her Kelly bag waterproofed. She and her Kelly bag would have to sit there all afternoon and wait for the rain to end rather than expose the bag to a droplet of moisture. It did cross my mind that she and her Kelly bag might have to sit there forever. She would get old, of course her bag would not. And she and the bag would, like some versions of Lot's wives, would metamorphosize into a monument to what happens to people who care way too much about purses. At that point, I gave up. I came back to New York and bought myself a purse. Well, it's not a purse exactly, it's a bag. It's definitely the best bag I've ever owned. It's yellow and blue, so it matches nothing at all, and therefore, on a deep level, matches everything. It's made of vinyl, and is completely waterproof. It is also equally unattractive in all seasons of the year. And it costs next to nothing, 26 bucks. I will never have to replace this bag because it seems to be completely indestructible. What's more, never has been in style, it could never go out of style. It doesn't work for everything, I admit, and on rare occasions I am forced to carry a purse, one that I absolutely hate. But mostly I go everywhere with my bag, and wherever I go, people say, I love that bag. Where did you get that bag? This is the greatest bag. The Metro Card bag. Why not? I never thought I would get married.
I'm not someone who dreamed of my wedding from a young age. I didn't have visions. I just wanted a dress I could twirl in.
But 2 months before my wedding, I saw an ad that said, wedding dresses, sample sale. So Saturday at 11 a.m., I was standing with 40 brides-to-be in front of the store called Brides-to-Be. They opened the door, stampede. Everyone's yelling, 8's over here, 12's over there, Mom, where are you? And grabbing purses, swinging elbows, jabbing each other, and somehow I ended up with 15 other women in a dressing room with no curtain, stuck inside a wedding dress. And finally, I got a look at myself and I thought, who is this person?
I went to all the San Francisco department stores and tried on white bridal dresses with satin tops and big lacy bottoms. It was like going back centuries, and the layers felt fantastic. But I don't look good in white, so no way.
So now I'm thinking pants. Wide, flowing pants. Maybe in silk, although I saw this parachute fabric once that I thought was beautiful.
My mom was totally involved.
My mother and I were barely speaking.
We went to all these boutiques where the people were just fashion freaks, and they were so excited that I was getting married that we got carried away and bought this dress. It was dark green. Right after, we went to see the rabbi to talk about the wedding, and my mother said, try it on for Rabbi Mendelsohn. So I went into the ladies' room at the temple and tried it on. I looked in the mirror, which wasn't easy because it was above the sink, so I had to jump up and down. And then it hit me. I look like a pine tree. I took it off and stuffed it back into the bag and realized this is going to be hard. This is going to be really hard.
So I've been dealing with my parents' homophobia since I was a young teenager. I thought they were going to get there, but when I told them I was getting married, they hit the roof. But my fiance's mom was great. Right after we told her the news, she came right over with an old plastic sandwich bag full of family rings. She said to me, I want you to pick the ring you want to get married in. Whatever ring you want. I'd like to give it to you. I picked a plain band made of rose gold that was my fiance's grandmother's. It was made in the 1880s. It's really beautiful and magical.
About this time, my mother went to a Buddhist retreat in Napa.
Finally, my friend suggested to go to a tuxedo store.
She called me up from a dress store in Unionville, and she said, I have found your dress. I have found it. This is it. I'm kind of laughing at this point, and my hopes aren't even up. She says, I'll be back Sunday.
I tried on a tuxedo pen, and they were silky and sort of great.
At 3 o'clock on Sunday, I get a call from my mother. I'm 3 hours away.
And a white frilly shirt that fit perfectly.
It's me again. I'm 2 hours away.
And then the saleswoman found a vest.
Set your watch. I'm 5 minutes from the exit.
Well, not daisies, just a chain pattern, interlocking circles.
My mom was like bubbling over with excitement, and she took the dress out of the box. It was the most beautiful color, eggplanty maroon.
So, okay, I did not look like a bride, but I looked good.
I tried it on, and it was amazing. My mother literally starts screaming and running around in circles. She's so excited about the dress. She's so excited that she's the one who found it, and she's so excited because I look beautiful. I just felt completely at peace.
A few days later, my fiance's mom came over and tried on the outfits, and she said, we needed to go together. You know, we needed to match better. So she brought these buttons covered for the buttons on the vest. Eggplanty maroon. I, Lisa, take thee, Amanda, to be my partner for life, to love, honor, and be faithful to, through good times and bad, for as long as we both shall live.
I, Amanda, take thee, Lisa, to be my partner for life, to love, honor, and be faithful to, through good times and bad, as long as we both shall live.
My mother kept saying to everyone, why'd they have to do that?
I could hear my mom sniffling right through the ceremony.
She even said it to Amanda's mom.
Why'd they have to do this? And my mom said, to honor their relationship.
Black.
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 When did we start wearing black?
I can't remember.
I love black.
Sometimes I buy something that isn't black, and I wish I didn't.
I'll take 3 in black, please.
I'll take 5 in black.
Do you have this in black?
Is this black?
Are you sure you don't have this in black?
Could you see if the other store has this in black?
What about the LA store? Do they have it in black?
Why do we only look good in black?
I went to a store the other day and the saleswoman showed me a black sweater and I said, I can't buy another black sweater.
You bought it, didn't you?
I bought it.
I feel sorry for people who live in places like Phoenix and Dallas, because people there wear things that are like pink.
What about all those women senators in their red suits?
And the royal blue suits.
Turquoise.
Coral?
Magenta?
What is wrong with them?
Don't they get it?
Can't we just stop pretending that anything is going to be better than the black?
Black?
Black.
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 I'm going to teach you to draw yourself.
You start by making 2 rectangles. There's your dress. You can add a collar or buttons. Doesn't matter. Add sleeves, belt. If you can't draw hands, you just put them behind your back. It works. You make an egg for a head. Can't draw eyes? Close them. Don't forget your all-natural, beautiful long eyelashes. You put an L for a nose and an M for a mouth. You can have like curly or straight hair, doesn't matter. And there you are. 3 lines, 4 lines will make legs. Anything for shoes, doesn't matter. Now this dress that I'm wearing has a collar and a lacy front. And then you just color it in. And there you are. I love this dress. And it's from Eileen Fisher. So there. It's black, of course. These days, I usually wear black. Black is always chic and makes fashion choices easy, right? But who are we kidding? When you get to a certain age, there are no fashion choices. I have to wear long sleeves because my arms have gone a pot. My neck, oh God, my neck. I wind up wearing scarves around it some days and I look like Katharine Hepburn on Golden Pond. I used to show a little cleavage, you know, as a fallback, but now my cleavage looks like a peach pit. And sometimes someone told me that I could have Botox in my peach pit, but there's so many other parts of me that need Botox, it's just gonna have to get in line. My waist is a distant memory. I find myself in a department store and it's like wandering through a desert. I actually feel like a forgotten woman. Actually, when I was young, there was a chain of stores called The Forgotten Woman. And now that I feel like a forgotten woman, the store's closed. How ironic is that? Anyway, the clothes I used to be able to wear are in boxes. My granddaughter, Allie, loves them. She's 4 years old, and when she comes over, I paint her fingernails and her toenails red, and I give her access to a drawer full of all of my blushes and eyeshadows and lipsticks that saleswomen forced me to buy. Then Allie tries on my old clothes, high heels, and hats. I watch her face as she looks in the mirror and she sees how beautiful she is. And I wonder, will she remember this? Will she remember me? My grandmother, she'll say, my grandmother was named Gingy, and she wore completely shapeless black things. Recently, Allie told me that her favorite color was pink, so I thought I'd sport a pink scarf.
I'd come to the doctor's office from work, so I was wearing a business suit and lipstick. I always wore lipstick, even for my surgery. When my surgery was done, my lipstick was perfect. The nurses, they were amazed. They kept saying, "What kind of lipstick is that?" I said, "Deep Scarlet by Avita." But anyway, when the doctor first told me the news,
You have advanced stage invasive ductal carcinoma.
I looked over at my brother. He had come to me for emotional support. He was wearing this great pair of faded Levi's and a V-neck sweater. He was only 22. I thought, I can't die. I can't leave my brother. He still needs me. The woman who had breast cancer told me,
Whenever you go to the hospital, look fabulous. They can be mean to you. They can rob you of your identity. Put on an important piece of jewelry and always look your best.
now my mother, she gave me this white waffle cotton robe to wear over my surgical gown. It was short and glamorous, definitely more spa than surgical. And on the day that my surgeon came in to undress my mastectomy wound, and I was going to see it for the first time, I wore that robe and my Indian candelabra freshwater pearl earrings. Now, before my mastectomy, I had A- breast. So as long as I was going to have reconstruction, I figured go for it. When that plastic surgeon asked what size breasts I wanted, I said, Baywatch! Yeah, and then we got into this negotiation because she said, you're too small to have such big breasts. How about a B? And I said, no, a C. She said, okay, a B plus. I said, a C. But anyway, the night before my reconstruction, my friend Meredith, she sent over this beautifully wrapped box, all in pretty ribbons and tissues, and I opened it. And there was this white lace bra with underwire. I never wore a bra with underwire. Until that moment, I hadn't thought of my breast as anything but a reconstructed mound. But when I was given that bra, I realized it was going to be a breast and a lace demi-cup push-up bra with underwire. The next day in the operating room, the surgeon came in and said, I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. She takes off my top and she starts drawing on me with a Sharpie magic marker. She said, this is where I'm going to cut. Here, here, here. And I just started feeling nauseous. I'm lying on this metal table, the smell of the room, the surgeon drawing on my chest. So I just focused on that bra. I just thought of that beautiful white lace bra that was waiting for me when this was over. Now, I didn't want a nipple on my new breast. The nipples they make are nice and they're completely natural, but I thought, if I have a nipple, every time people look at my breast, all they're going to see is those awful mastectomy scars. Whereas if I get a tattoo instead of a nipple, they'll see a tattoo and laugh. Yeah, I don't know what people were looking at my breast exactly, but nevertheless, that was my thinking. So I started phoning these tattoo parlors and telling them what I wanted, and I found this guy. He got so excited. He said his grandmother had just had breast cancer, and he said, I've got to do this for you. I told him, I want my tattoo to be a heart with wings. In Spanish, for the word for heart is corazón, and in French, it's cœur. So heart symbolizes both love and courage. And I wanted wings to represent all the friends who looked after me, like angels. After my chemo, 2 guys made me this wig that was so beautiful, but I didn't want to wear it. Everyone in the office knew I lost my hair. I mean, they saw it falling out. So I wore baseball caps backwards. I had a black suede one, a brown velour, but my crushed red velvet was my favorite. My Aunt Honey gave that one to me. Look, I saved all my hats, and I give them to other women to wear during their chemo, but I always ask for them back, because I want to give them again. You know, I think of them as like magic hats, a good luck thing. You know, when you get invasive breast cancer at 27, no one thinks you're going to live, but I did.
After I finished making all these drawings and writing all the bits and pieces that went along with them, which took about a year, I made some copies, put them in big red binders, and gave them to my children and 2 of my best friends. I was so happy you have no idea. It was the story of my life. My mother was in it, my grandmother, and my Aunt Babby. It was as if they were still alive. They were acknowledged. Because when my sister dies, no one but me will know who they were. I was done. I managed to say all the things to my children you don't have time to say. I wanted them to know I wasn't always their mother. I was a girl, I had best friends, we did stupid things together. I rode a bus once with Dora eating dog biscuits so people would look at us. I wanted them to know. Then someone showed the book to a publisher, and I thought, who would buy this? It's too personal. But they published it, and it turned out that it was personal to other people too.
It was a green plaid coat, and I caught it on a piece of barbed wire.
Navy blue wool tights that kept falling down, making a web between my legs.
Matching dresses with my sister for Easter Sunday, bright blue dresses with smockings.
A gold lame mini dress I wore when I snuck into a Sting concert.
Blue jeans that me and my best girlfriend embroidered peace
My
signs on.
first cheerleading outfit that said Colts right across the front chest.
Black cigarette pants that I wore one romantic night in Paris.
Cotton candy pink silk shoes with bubble gum, pink silk roses on the toes.
My poodle skirt. My poodle skirt.